In this podcast episode, Batya Ungar-Sargon, a prominent journalist and author, delves into the complex dynamics of class, immigration, and political polarization in America. She argues that the narrative of polarization is largely a construct of the elite, who benefit from the status quo while the working class suffers. This conversation highlights the disconnect between the political class and the average American, particularly in the context of immigration and economic policy. Ungar-Sargon asserts that the perceived polarization in American politics is exaggerated. She emphasizes that when speaking to working-class Americans, there is a significant consensus on contentious issues like abortion and immigration. For instance, while the abortion debate is often framed as a binary choice between pro-life and pro-choice, polling reveals that many Americans hold nuanced views that advocate for restrictions while allowing exceptions. This complexity is often overlooked by politicians who cater to their bases, leading to a misrepresentation of public sentiment. She argues that both major political parties have failed to represent the interests of the working class. The Republican Party, while claiming to advocate for stricter immigration laws, often neglects healthcare issues, while the Democratic Party promotes healthcare access but supports open borders. This disconnect leaves a vast segment of the population feeling unrepresented and frustrated. A significant portion of the conversation revolves around the consequences of mass immigration on the American working class. Ungar-Sargon highlights that many jobs that once provided stability and dignity, such as those in the meatpacking industry, are now filled by undocumented workers, often trafficked and exploited. She argues that this influx of low-wage labor has contributed to the decline of working-class wages and opportunities, creating a system that benefits the elite at the expense of the average American. She points out that the political elite, particularly in the Democratic Party, have a vested interest in maintaining an open border, as it provides them with a cheap labor force. This dynamic, she argues, is a form of economic exploitation that perpetuates inequality. The narrative that mass immigration is beneficial for the economy is misleading, as it primarily enriches the wealthy while undermining the livelihoods of working-class Americans. Ungar-Sargon discusses the evolving class and gender dynamics in American society, noting that the Democratic Party has increasingly aligned itself with college-educated elites, while the Republican Party has garnered support from the working class across racial lines. This shift has created a gender divide, as women, particularly those with college degrees, are more likely to support the Democratic Party, while working-class men feel increasingly alienated. She argues that the focus on identity politics has overshadowed the economic struggles faced by the working class. Many working-class Americans prioritize economic stability and access to health care over symbolic issues, yet neither party adequately addresses their concerns. This disconnect has led to a growing sense of disenfranchisement among the working class, which Ungar-Sargon believes is a significant factor in the rise of Donald Trump. Throughout the discussion, Ungar-Sargon emphasizes the role of elites in shaping public discourse. She argues that the media and political elites benefit from promoting narratives of polarization and division, as it allows them to maintain power and control. This manipulation of public perception obscures the reality that many Americans share common concerns and values. She critiques the media's portrayal of issues like immigration and abortion, suggesting that it often fails to capture the nuanced views of the working class. Instead, the media tends to amplify extreme positions, further entrenching the idea of polarization. This dynamic serves the interests of the elite, who can then position themselves as the arbiters of truth and morality. Ungar-Sargon also touches on the concept of the American dream and the importance of national identity. She argues that the working class feels a deep sense of loss as they witness the erosion of opportunities that once defined the American dream. The influx of immigrants, coupled with economic policies that favor the elite, has created a landscape where many working-class Americans feel they are fighting for their place in society. She expresses a strong belief in the importance of borders and citizenship, arguing that civil rights and protections are inherently tied to national identity. Ungar-Sargon contends that the moral obligation to prioritize the well-being of fellow citizens should take precedence over global concerns. This perspective challenges the notion that America should bear the burden of solving global issues at the expense of its own citizens.